So what were you talking about?
The mindless drove, I think, is really what we were talking about. Like, you lose yourself in these man-made religions because that's what you're told is right, and you feel that that's right in your heart. But there's something in the back of your head that you'll hear. Anybody that's walked the spiritual path will know this, that you'll hear that says, something's not right. But it's so quiet, and it's just a whisper in the background, so it's easily ignored, and that's how people become so disconnected with their spirituality.
Yeah.
I feel like Spirit's like, no, bitch.
So recently, we've had people reach out to us and ask us, if we felt the energy that was going on around the world today.
Yeah, and I think we all have. I mean, it's that shit energy that we talk about so much if you followed us for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that combination of just like social media and government, and all this is just crashing down. People are starting to have these awakenings, and they're lost because they don't know what the hell's happening. They've been taught by this big, huge, negative, shit-ass entity that life is this way, but they're starting to wake up to that and become smart to it. And that's what we're striving for, is to have people do that.
Yeah. I think the perception is changing for people, and like you said, they don't know where to go. So some people are losing their shit because they're stuck in that old world, that stagnant world. And the new world is here already.
Yeah.
And I know personally, me and Dallas, feel that and know that in our lives. So when we refer to, that's not my world anymore, it's because we have transitioned, not all the way, because we're working quickly, by the way. So your shadow work is sped up right now. So that's why people are losing their shit. Yeah. One of the other reasons. But anyway... and then you got other people who are drastically changing their lives for the better.
Yeah.
Like, they are becoming totally opposite of who they were.
They don't even realize what they're doing.
No, they don't.
It's crazy.
No.
Yeah.
We actually have someone that recently made a drastic change in their life.
Good. She had a very big epiphany about life, and she's going with it. Yeah. She's rocking it out, and kudos to her,
Yeah, it was really cool, and it's happening to people who aren't fully aware of the level of consciousness we're talking about here, because we could try to have these conversations with her, and it was like the whole world had stopped. She didn't hear us at all, and then she just carried on with a regular conversation.
Right.
I was like, yep, nope.
She's not there yet, but she's going to be. That's the good thing. We can see the progress in people that are just randomly awakening. But like you said, people are losing their shit. We've talked about it before, like people in the air travel industry losing their shit. Lots of school shootings, lots of just negative, stupid bullshit, And it's all part of this big entity or whatever it is that has taken over the world, but we're transitioning back into that new world, and we're not calling that our world anymore. That's the old world, and we're transitioning into the new.
Yep.
And I couldn't be more happy.
Me either.
And I hope that we can touch as many people as we can to make it over into that transition with us.
Me too. And just to hit off topic for just a second, guys, we have our meditation classes that just rolled out. If you guys are interested in hopping on to that meditation class, it's self-paced, no hurry. You have got that spiritual guidance for a month. I think we've talked about this in the previous recording, but if you would like to purchase that, it is $60. I don't think we've filled the spots.
No, there's still 4 slots left that are $50 because we wanted to give back to the first few that bought it.
Yeah. So if you would like to purchase that, you can go to www.intuitivehealerholly.com, or you can find us on Facebook. Reach out to us on our social media pages, Holly Mullins, Dallas Adams. Email bnpsholly@gmail.com, and we can get you set up and with the program. And it's all the stuff that we talk about, but more in depth for and rounded together for teaching. So I just want to do a shameless plug there.
Hell yeah, do it to it. And if you follow Appalachian Spiritual Retreats on Facebook, if you go like and follow, we're always up to date and current with that. And we like to take little blurbs that we've learned along the way and make them into memes and share them with you guys. So you can see a lot of our thought processes and stuff for free, actually, on Appalachian Spiritual Retreats. But as far as the meditation, the guided meditations and the classes for spiritual growth, those are the ones that we're charging for the energy exchange.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, you can get a hold of us by our social media. But moving on to that shit energy. That what Alice talked about is us coming in, and we feel so honored. I feel so honored. I never thought I'd say that, and I also never, as a healer, thought I'd be happy to be a healer because of working with the living people. But now we have a better understanding of everything. So these lessons have been coming through. We have been dealing with our shit while we're helping other people deal with their shit, trying to open their eyes and touch them through spirit. And that's why we 100% know why we're here. And we have been awakened on this massive scale, and it's just amazing. And what a privilege to be born in this era that we've talked about. But I know that, Dallas, you had been in meditation yesterday, as of every day we do, but you talked about we actually talked about how we are both passionate about, we don't understand how with the certificates and things like that, people that feel like they need to be certified to do things. And then we got into a deeper conversation where you talked about something called a mirror effect.
So, I mean, I think it's a beautiful thing if you want to learn energy work and go out there and get the certifications so you can start to understand. I think why we don't get it is because it's just a natural thing that we've tapped into by the grace of spirit, But I was thinking these people out there, not even those people, but just like the ones who claim spirituality and stuff in the community. They say beautiful things, and they post these beautiful memes and stuff like that. And eventually you'll learn that maybe they don't really understand it, but they're on that path, but what they're doing is they're mirroring that information to other people that need it. So it's a beautiful thing to be in that transition where you want to do it, but you don't quite understand it. And even if it's not sinking into you at the moment, it's still serving its purpose by, mirroring out to somebody else.
So what we're getting at there, in kind of like dummy terms, I would compare it to someone being around you closely and piggybacking off of you when your friendship ends. And so they become you, and they really start doing things that you had taught them, and things with spirituality. It's the same thing as a mirror effect. As hard as it is for us as individuals to say that is doing good, our ego and our pride wants to go, that's my work, that's my hard work that I've worked for, and that the mirror effect does do good, and
it does.
it's like I said, it's really hard to say.
Well, I mean, you've been through it time and time again.
Yeah.
And anybody that's been in the community knows how it works. You know, there's people that they're good at befriending you and sucking you dry of information.
Yeah.
You know? Like you, out of the kindness of your heart, are willing to talk about this stuff and to tell people how to do it. But then the very next day, you'll see intuitive healer, such and such, such and such.
Right.
You know, I mean, I know.
Or they become a guru.
Or they become a guru.
Yeah. Well, you know, we've had people come together.
Yeah.
Who have come into our life, and you know, we don't realize afterwards why, but then, you know, you look back and how they've become some kind of spiritual person.
Yeah,
which is good.
We've come to terms with the fact that it's nice to inspire people.
Yeah.
And that's how we see it.
It is,
we do.
yes, and it's very hard.
And it's such a blessing to be able to inspire people.
It really
but
is.
you know their true intentions when they're doing it.
Yeah.
You know. But that's a little peek inside the...
It is, because I want people to understand, because I know there's people who are listening who are thinking, well, they're taking somebody else's shit, and they're trying to make it their own. And it's exactly what it is, but the message is still being heard.
Right.
So if you go back into biblical times, if you go into any kind of spiritual Hinduism, Buddhism, all them words were passed down through time, right?
Yeah.
So it's just...
It's cool. These people are walking around in their mirrors.
Yeah.
So, that's my little philosophy on that.
Yeah. I think that's beautiful. I love it.
But the reason we do what we do at the end of the day, when everything is said and done, is we know this is our calling. We want to inspire people to have those beautiful awakenings. And so, ever how you have to get to it, go for it.
Yeah.
Just remember out there in this community that we're all in it together. Nobody's in competition.
No.
And that's the thing. People love competition.
They do. There's no competition here.
I'm happy to report, and I know that Holly can say this too, is we've weeded out everybody like that in our general circles.
Absolutely.
So you just got to be mindful of people's energies and their intentions, because they're not always great for you.
No, they're not. And that goes back to the shit energy. These are the people that are left behind right now.
Yeah, they're struggling. They're grasping. Yeah. They know that something's up, but they don't know what to do with it, and they don't know how to rectify what's going on, and they're not true energy workers, you know.
No, they're not. They're not working on their shit.
Right.
Is the bottom line.
Well, true.
You can run all you want, but you're going to still have to deal with it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, that's what we wanted to talk about on this little section of the show.
Yeah, I feel like there's some other things that we should talk about. But
I know.
I'm
it's
trying
not
to keep track.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot that has happened with us.
There
mean,
is.
out of body work has been amazing.
Yeah,
that whole shift of the flute, talking about it 20 times the last
You're right.
last
that little thing's that energy's evolved into something different. And,
it is.
Yeah.
And Dallas is doing his thing over here. He's starting into the male body positivity scene.
Yeah, I mean, we all have this one body in this one lifetime, right? So why not celebrate what we got, whether you're 600 pounds or whether you're 300. All I want to know, all I want people to know is it's okay to embrace yourself.
Yeah.
I love what you have to work with. If you find flaws within yourself that are easily fixed, do that. Lose weight. If you're that 600-pound guy and you're struggling, you can do it. You can do it. All you have to do is change the perception of your reality. Start meditating. Go in there. Tell yourself mantras nightly in deep meditation. I will lose this weight. I will become healthy. And that's what we're doing right now. Me and Holly's doing it. So you can do this. And that's what I want to do, is inspire people any way I can. And if it's exposing some fat rolls on TikTok, hell yeah.
I come to terms with that very, very long ago. And I always wish it for other people. And it's frustrating when I'm around someone who doesn't see that in themselves. Because at the end of the day, you are the creator of your own universe. So you create what you see.
Yep.
You are not what everybody else sees.
Right.
And you see your flaws, every little inch of your flaws. I learned to get naked in front of that mirror and say, this is who I am. There's things about me. I mean, I've got skin tags on the top of my eyelids that have gotten worse over the years. That bothers me.
Yeah.
But, you know, I thought about it and I was like, that is a part of who I am. I mean, if they fall off on their own, great. If not, they're there.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's stuff that people don't even notice that I put on myself.
Yeah.
And we are so critical of ourselves.
We are. I totally agree, and I'm working through some issues right now with mine too. But I've come. It's a beautiful thing when you find inner peace. A lot of things happen. Yep. It's like an avalanche effect.
Yeah.
You start to build confidence in yourself. You start to accept the hot mess that you want to call yourself. You start to accept that and embrace it and show that to other people. And how inspiring is it to get to be one of the people to open up and pave the way, you know, for other guys that are feeling the same way about themselves.
Yeah, because right now, it seems like for years, now the guys scene, it's been coming in for the last probably 5 years, but the dad bods and things like that. Right. But it's mostly based on women, plus size women.
Yeah.
And even then, they still don't represent the women's bodies because you're tall, you're 6'4".
Yeah.
And, you know, you're built different.
Yeah.
I'm built different. I'm 5'4".
Yeah.
I
don't think there's anybody in the world that's built like I am.
Exactly,
you know?
yeah.
And that's cool, actually.
People need to see that because there's people. What you don't understand and what we're getting at here, guys, is that you create your own reality. So why choose to be sulky into your own depression of, you know, anti-body, your body's shit and how you're a shit person? Why do we choose to stay in that vibrational plane? Why? You have the total control over that. Nobody else makes you, I mean, of course there's situations that makes you that way, but however, I'm talking about for yourself, the anger for yourself, the despise for yourself. You gotta face yourself, honey, because when you face yourself, you start healing that wound. You start healing wounds from other people. You know, it just spreads out like the family tree. I think, if anything, the family tree represents is some of the shit that everybody else's generations carry.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful if you look in your mind's eye and imagine that, because the tree starts to heal and become, you know, usually family trees you see are black.
Yeah.
You know, they're black trees, or not typically a brown, beautiful, flowery tree.
Right.
It's just the branches and it's like the winter
just very
time.
basic.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, very bland, dry.
Yeah.
But why not spice it up a little bit? You know?
But anyway, that's the whole thing about the ancestry thing too. We was talking about.
Yeah, well, I think we may have said this before, but we don't know. We're going to go ahead and say it again if we did. We come from, and I say we because Holly and I, again,
we
our
haven't
cousins,
talked about this.
Our great grandmothers were twin sisters, so that's really when all this ancestor stuff come around. It's cool to share that lineage so we can follow it together. However, we both come from a very long line of Cherokee chieftains and are even related to
the Powhatans.
Yeah, the Powhatans. Pocahontas is my 9th and Holly's 10th great grandaunt.
Yep.
So yeah, that's pretty cool. We've always, I know Holly's talked about it, she's always felt the native, and her papaw has always told her that there was Cherokee, and of course he was right, looking at her family tree.
We all thought he was full of shit after I got my DNA back.
right.
But that does not show, it doesn't break down enough for it to show the percentage in it. No. Beautiful history, guys, in our lineage, and it fills my heart with like so much joy, because you feel that. I felt that since I was, oh my God, like early, I don't know, probably 20s, something like that. I don't know, probably past that, but I just remember the flute. The flute was, oh shit. I just had the epiphany. Yeah, it was the flute music.
Yeah, all the way back then. That's what you connected with. That's what, basically, that's when your whole spiritual awakening started, right?
Well, when I was 16.
Before that, excuse me.
Little experiences that I had, but no, you're right, like the flute music. And then my brother, he got him into it.
Yeah.
Of course, he has them ways too about him.
Yeah, right. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And I think that's wholeheartedly where our shamanistic traits probably come from.
Yeah,
you know?
and celestial wise.
I mean,
too.
of course, yeah, we've all been selected this soul contract to do what we need to do here, but
yeah.
it's cool on the human aspect to look at it, at your actual blood lineage.
It is, because
ancestry.
you didn't, like we've talked about, you don't think about past your great grandparents,
Right.
and these people are strangers to you. And
Yeah.
most of them, I mean, if you're like us, I don't know. I didn't get to meet any of my great grandparents, but one.
I don't think. Well, there was a couple grandmothers, great grandmothers
Yeah.
that I met, but
Yeah. So I mean, you know, that generation's usually gone by the time
right.
people come into the world, and if not, you know, they're usually blessed to see that. But you go back into your ancestry to these like Scotland, Wales.
Yeah.
You're talking Salem, Massachusetts. It's crazy to see that them connections.
So what we don't realize is that as we're doing this, we are understanding how to heal karmic energy or ancestral karmic energy, because that is a thing.
Yeah.
There's, if you want to call it a curse or whatever you want to call it, there's certain energies that carry from bloodline to bloodline.
Yeah.
And this has, I think, been proven time and time again. But there's certain generations who stand up and say, hey, no, we're stopping it. We're going to end this right here. And it changes that whole family name,
Yep.
you know. So
it really does.
there's that energy that you have to work through, too.
Yeah, and it's huge right now. It's no matter if you want to work on it or not, honey, you got to work through it, because you either going to stay here stagnant and work for years to get through this, and maybe not in this lifetime, and have to come back and work that whole lifetime, and maybe you have an epiphany when you're 16 years old and you're ready to go home, but you have to work it out the rest of your life.
It's true.
But that's where you're meant to be,
Yep.
and that's what your soul contract is.
It's cool how all this spirituality actually works. It's cool that it is just, we consider it downloads that we get during meditation, and you'll know if you have advanced as far as we have on this path, how it starts to happen. It just comes as downloads during meditation. It's cool because we'll feel like our head is in a vice, or something's got it grasping, and our third eye will pulsate.
Yes.
So it's kind of like these downloads that we get, and then we get this beautiful plethora of spiritual information that has been gifted directly from Spirit. So that's why we're so passionate about this, you know?
It's always all passionate, man. We're so excited for the future because we know Spirit has something very good aligned for us. And right now we're putting out the intentions. We're bringing in abundance and everything, and health, wealth, love for ourselves, love for others, you know, just compassion in the world, and bringing that new world in. And it's happening, and we're seeing it in other people, and it's wild and it's amazing. We have a friend who just had, I don't know, it's just awesome. I will tell you this, by the end of this, I believe, and this is just my psychic forecast, I guess you would say, but I believe that this world will work on a more commune basis, where we have spiritual communities, more spiritual communities, and that conversion is in place. We have people with their gardens living more self-sufficient for themselves, and the earth starts to repair itself.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's got to happen, guys. So please get on board with that. Get on board with healing this world, because that's the new world. We've got to repair the damage that we've done, and this is not something that's going to happen overnight.
No.
It's people like us, and we are, anybody in this community right now is trailblazing, guys. We got to blaze the trails to get this to where it needs to be. So don't be afraid to be vocal with your spirituality. To those who are willing to accept it, because we all know if you're not spiritual, it's not going to get through. But maybe, I mean, maybe not at the time that you say it, but it might eventually hit them like a ton of bricks. But you know what I mean? Keep the vibes high and help transition over into this new beautiful earth that we could share with one another, which is ultimately the collective conscious. That's our goal.
It's been amazing since the last time that we spoke to you guys. Really, truly, October was crazy, so we had the shows the reason that we forgot what we talked about was because we had such a big distance of time in between the recording of that, so we apologize. But, but y'all know at least we telling the truth. We
couldn't make that up twice.
We about died. It was so hilarious.
It was.
But anyway, that's what we wanted to come on and talk about today, and what's going on in our lives. So we are actually thriving right now, and we are getting our health together. And we feel more now than ever together with our mental states. And I mean that on a, not saying that we've went off the deep end by any means, but everybody's dealing with that energy. And some people can't handle it as well as others. And most people are not. They're just hiding that they can deal with it. Right. But, when you start dealing with it and you say it verbally out loud that, hey, I'm letting this go. And I understand now why I held on to it. I'm moving past it. And all the starts to disappear.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness, it's crazy how much if you start to heal yourself that you'll advance spiritually.
Yeah. And it's so weird because I told Dallas every time we go somewhere, I feel like if someone's willing to listen to what we have to say, that we make an impact on their lives, y'all. That's why we hear. That's what we live for.
That's why we do what we do. That's day in, day out. That's what we do. No joke, guys. This is our life.
Yeah.
We have submerged ourselves in this calling here, and we wouldn't have that any other way. Mm-hmm. We spend hours daily in our sanctuary, not always in meditation, but most of the time in meditation.
Yes.
We're putting in all this spiritual work, and that's why we're offering the classes. Why not benefit from some of the information that we've been worked hard to get? I feel like that I will gladly share with you. To help you along your path. So it's a beautiful thing. Yeah. To me, that's why we do what we do. That's our calling. Yeah, it's all part of that.
There's a lot of things that we haven't mentioned, and we're actually in the midst of making a list and trying to get it organized for you guys, because we do want to keep you caught up. This is our documentary for our spiritual journey, so we want to make sure we don't forget this.
Yep,
you know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? It's easy to forget some of these major and minor experiences that you have, and so much has happened, and it's been amazing. We actually got to see each other outside of our bodies.
Yes.
For the first time. We worked with pendulums, and we got to control the pendulums, so we'll talk about that. That's pretty cool.
It's really cool. So we've been doing a little crafting where it's Christmas time. We're feeling nostalgic,
getting ready for Yule,
feeling creative, and we're getting ready for Yule. So just for the little Appalachian Roots business that we have, Holly had been wood burning some pendulum boards and things like that, and we've been doing the ornaments, but yesterday we had the pendulums out, and we were getting connected. There was 2 pendulums. One of them's her son's and one of them was hers. But we got them pendulums out and connected with them.
Yep.
And we were doing some pretty cool things about the commanding the way it was moving and stuff like that with the mind control.
Just that conscious,
just that energy flow, that conscious flow of energy.
That is the
between
start
the pendulum
of
and
what people are really deep into, where they claim to be able to move things with their mind, and I absolutely believe that. You got to be open to that. That's the perception that you have to open up to. Now I'm closer to believing it. I can do it right now than I ever would have been in the past, even probably months ago, because a lot's happened. We've been having our profound moments almost every time we go into meditation daily, and the people are being brought to us that need to be brought to us, that we are helping, and they are helping others with that knowledge. And that's, again, what it's all about.
That is, absolutely. There's people that have been able to inspire that I never thought I would ever see, and that is such a beautiful thing. And that's not me, that is the work of spirit.
It is,
there,
and that's how strong it is.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about a religious area here.
Very religious area, But
cool. Everything is looking up. So remember, guys, the shit energy that's going around, if you're a part of it, if you feel that, it means that you need to go ahead and work through what you need to work through, boo-boo, because there's something brighter on the other side of it. Y'all, we can't preach meditation enough. If you can't meditate, it's really, it's going to be really hard trying to
transition. Because this energy is not going to go away until we as a collective will it away. That's what it's going to take. So make sure if you're feeling this off energy that you take a moment and you ground yourself, shield away from bad energy. Ground yourself. Take the time to just take the time to do one thing a day that makes you smile, because if not, you'll get consumed with that ugly energy. Yeah, and you'll notice, you'll pick it, especially for all the empathic, the ones that know that they're empathic. It's hard to take. It's hard to take, and you take on the form of other people's energy. So watch out for that and just stay grounded. If you see somebody being negative and shitty, don't buy into it. Just try to make their day a little better. Try to lighten the mood,
Yeah, because the whole end goal is to make everything just happy, like love
and compassion for the world, passion for
working together,
passion for life, passion for the planet, passion for the beautiful nature that we get to coexist in,
and our spirituality
overall that connection with spirit's what we all long for, whether we know we are or not. That's what we're missing, that connection to source.
It is.
And then once you start to figure out and have these awakenings, it's, gosh, what a beautiful ride it is.
It sure is. Wow. And we're back.
We are back. Welcome back. How's everything going?
It is going good. I think we've been, before we started recording, we've been deep into conversation about spirituality and how things are coming about and just reflecting. I think that's the best word for it. So today feels like a reflection day, which is every day for us, sitting here in meditation and just chilling and going with the flow of how Spirit's leading us. And changes are abound through synchronicities, which we'll get deeper into. And we really wanted to touch subject on spirituality, and we wanted you guys to hear what we were speaking about.
Yeah, absolutely. So many, as you know, so many cool and amazing things have been happening spiritually lately, with the ascension process. We've been gifted so many beautiful tools, and it's nice to start seeing the work pay off that you put in with the spirituality. People wear their spirituality these days like a badge instead of embracing or encompassing their spirituality. They kind of wear it like a badge, right?
Well, they do everything these days. It's everything from the paranormal to the spirituality to religion to political things, and it's that human innate. They gotta be better than someone else, or they have to be relevant. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. But there is one thing that we all know when we walk this path is, you can be gifted these beautiful, beautiful things by Spirit, just by simply choosing to meditate. That's how easily it comes, like that very first time you choose to sit down and meditate, if you haven't been awakened. But most listeners here, I'm sure, have been through their first awakening and all that. But you know what I'm saying? It's just that it's that time of day, guys. That's all I can say. I forgot. I lost my train of thought.
But no, spirituality, coming into it, meditation does help. It is the doorway to opening up to all these possibilities. Not only that, if you're working on your shadow work and you're trying to better yourself spiritually and to ascend spiritually, it's not about anybody else around you. It's about yourself. And that's what it should always come back to, is yourself. Is working on yourself for you, on your own journey.
Yeah, follow your heart. the only thing it takes, and I'm telling you it's this easy, is to sit down in your own thoughts in meditation. Let them thoughts come into your mind, let them pass as many times as you need to until you finally start to quiet the mind, and then that's where your world will change, physically, mentally. I mean, the sky's the limit. And especially once, what's really cool about spirituality is you get out of it what you put into it. So the more you work, the more you'll get out of it. And that's where we're at right now. I think we have put in all them long, hard hours, and we wouldn't have it any other way. And just doing all that shadow work and all that. And at the end of the day, it's so satisfying to be gifted these rewards in meditation. And I wish we could explain it till you could understand it right now. And maybe you do. Maybe you've surpassed us on this point right here, and you're listening back. You're like, wow, I remember those days. That's cool. They're going through that right now. Because you can do that with your spiritual path.
Yeah.
You can look back and put the puzzle pieces together, and you can see why this happened when it did, and all this and that, so wow, it's crazy.
It is crazy. And I know we talk about meditation a lot, and by now, if you guys have listened to the previous podcast, we're talking about some transcendental based. We don't really put it in a category, but if you was to put it in today's spiritual category, it was be a transcendental. It is very high, not just a very deep meditation, it is also a conscious meditation.
Yeah, very much.
That is the difference between what we're teaching people and what they already know about the meditation that is out there.
Right.
And having that control and focus, especially when you have mentors in front of you that have been through this. I mean, I love it. You always
really cool.
know. It goes back to the Jesus energy. You know when that person is your mentor, or you're going to learn something from them, and that's beautiful. It's so beautiful to know that you have gifted someone with some knowledge, and that hands down to other people, which goes into the mirror effect that we talked about.
Absolutely, and if they don't understand it right now, they will convey it to the right person. They'll bounce it off like that mirror. So.
Yep, it's very important right now. I know we talked about shit energy in the last little bit of the show, but I would like to also put this out there as well, is that people who have been what they thought they've been on a spiritual path for a long time ain't dealt with their shit, so they're wondering why. They're confused.
Yeah.
So what's happening is the shit is being pushed out. It's a purge is what it is. And it's purge on a spiritual aspect, just like it is the end of times for a spiritual aspect going into the new world. But people think they've dealt with their shit, and they really haven't. I can tell you right now that in the past months, I've been dealing with deep stuff that I never knew bothered me.
Same.
And let go of things. And we are continuously growing. We are no more knowledgeable, we might be a little bit more knowledgeable because of our path, but not better than anyone else. You possess the same abilities that we do.
Absolutely.
It's just tapping into them.
Yes. Yep, I agree, and it's, I don't know.
On the other hand of this is the synchronicities. We are seeing them very huge right now. If you guys are familiar with synchronicities, it's not just numbers, but it's things that happen in our life to lead us to where we need to be. So they've been so on point lately. It's just been verbally saying it and then it appearing a day later, maybe even the same day.
Yeah.
And so that's manifestation.
Manifestation hardcore, just by speaking it out loud, guys. We've seen it, and it's just been little small things. Like, I think we've talked about the fish story, like where we were talking about craving salmon, and then them having that at that dinner. And if we haven't, then it's just little things like that right there that is part of a bigger thing with the synchronicities, right?
It really is, and it keeps going on from there. There's so many, and people who are meeting spirit halfway and doing the spiritual work are seeing that, and it's beautiful, and they are tasting that new world.
Right.
They are getting a vision of what it is, but guess what? You are the captain of your own ship. You're the captain of your own perception. And we have been working on perception since last year when Spirit led us into the left brain, right brain.
Yeah, it's such a real thing. I mean, my goodness, the placebo effect, where we believe so strongly that we're taking something that's going to heal our own body, like a pill, but it has no medicine in it whatsoever, right? So the faith that we're going to change that healing, you know what I mean.
So the placebo effect is the effect, it's pure manifestation is what it boils down to. It's all about the intent behind it, just like prayer. Manifestation is the same, but it's also changing perception of everything around you. We couldn't mention the word perception enough, I don't think.
No, that's what it's all about. I mean, you know, on a daily basis how many thoughts that we have in our head, and
especially negative.
Yeah, negative thoughts, weird thoughts that creep in that we don't know where it come from, and we just what that is that's our perception of the moment. We have let somebody else's shit energy infiltrate our shield, or we've just stepped into a home with negative energy, or anyway, if we're not careful, we catch that energy, you know, and it puts us the perception in our head that this is how it is when it's not actually.
Yeah, and it's also what we talked about in the genetics.
Yeah.
It is passed down through, and we talked about that a little bit on the last snippet of the show, is what people will perceive as a curse.
Right.
Through your ancestors.
Right.
No, it is in a way a curse, but of a different kind, which you have to break on your own. Nobody else can break.
Yeah,
say,
absolutely.
You got to work on your shit, man.
Speaking of generational curses, that was actually mentioned in a nice little video that we discovered that was gifted to us today through the Lightworkers Lounge.
Yes.
Yeah. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. Okay. So we are part of a little group called Lightworkers Lounge that I always say Spirit always leads you where you need to be. There's no such thing as coincidence. This is true because my good friend Tom led us to the Lightworkers Lounge with Susan Hill in there. I actually was introduced to Susan before the Lightworkers Lounge, but anyway, very cool, very informative. And she posted a video today, and it was these two guys. I can't even remember. It was on YouTube. But anyway, they were talking about the Soul Tribe. So we hear about Soul Tribe a lot, especially in spirituality. People talk about, oh, you're part of my Soul Tribe. When in reality, they're really not. Right. So we're talking deeper level. This is like really cool stuff that we've talked about in past shows, about how we've connected with our ancestors and what we thought on a whole different, maybe even time.
Yeah, celestial plane or something to that effect. Yeah.
So this video goes into, and it's like cartoonish made.
Yeah. And I wish I could. What is the name of that video? Do you remember it? Right?
I don't.
It's a very nice made little really cartoony type video. But the message was just like flooring us, because we, on our spiritual journey, have experienced basically that same path. Yep. And it's the path of I don't know, I guess they call them the light workers, and from the whatever planet they're from, they have, it goes in deep. It goes into how they chose to come to Earth and live these human lives and learn these lessons, what we do in our everyday meditation, you know. So I mean, it's really cool. You should check it out sometime if you're a part of that group. It's called the Lightworkers Lounge on Facebook.
I think it's private, so you have to be invited to it.
Right.
But it's out there, and you can reach out to one of us and just we can get you an invite into the lounge. But in that video, they talked about the tribe. This goes back to shamanism, is where they're originating this from, but not just Native American shamanism or native shamanism, but it would be considered celestial.
A star shaman. Yeah, for lack of better words. Yeah, a light being, I would call it. Yeah. A tribe of light beings that were shamanistic. And that's how they saved their planet, I think.
Yeah, they were in the same position.
Yeah, they were in the same position we were as far as here on Earth. And
now, mind you, do we go fully engulfed into what they're saying? No, but we have felt and seen most of what they were saying.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, what separates us is our beliefs. So we always put a belief on something, and that's what something me and Dallas really do not do, is really cling to one certain belief or whatever resonates with our soul, and we know this definitely does. And because we have seen it in meditation, we've been brought there, we've been led there by the flute,
Yeah, it's kind of hard to deny it when it's happening to you directly with your eyes wide open, so to speak. Unconsciously conscious, I would call it, you know.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing about it is that was synchronicity. We were brought to that by, one person. One person met another, and, we wasn't looking for validation in that, because that's something that could be really hard to find validation for, but Spirit gifted with that.
Absolutely.
And gifted us with that, and that's beautiful.
Right. I agree.